Hello there, my name's Chris Dangerfield and welcome back to my channel. Oh, look at me in a really good mood, and I am in a really good mood. I'll tell you why, I've been going through the comments. I've had a lot of new subscribers from Suit Yourself. If you don't know Suit Yourself's channel, you should check it out. It's an animated channel. It's like this strapping big Australian bloke who sort of goes, no, fuck you. This is all this. Nice bloke though, he gave me a guest spot and been chatting with him on Twitter. But yeah, I'll put a link in the description. Go and check his channel out. Anyway, I was going through all the comments and that. What lovely people you are. I mean, I know I'm playing with fire now a little bit. Yeah. I mean, you get the odd person who's like, you're a cunt. And I'm like, yeah, you're deleted. Well done. But on the whole, on the dramatic whole, I mean, to have videos with like 300 likes and no dislikes, I always wanted to be a storyteller. I always wanted to be a comedian, a raconteur. And, you know, when something goes well, when you want to do something and you're getting feedback that kind of affirms what you want from the world, it kind of legitimizes your reality. They're wonderful feelings. So even though I'm knackered, I'm playing the martyr and I've got a couple of stories for you, and they join together but in a strange way. Oh, I'm presenting you a story arc. What a wonderful envelope. What a strange pattern. To Dangerfield, stories are like butter, they must be spread. As much as I can pretend to be full of life, the truth is I'm shattered. Okay, so check it out. I'm 18 years old, yeah, and I'm giving it too much of that, loads of that, and I get a little sore on the end of my foreskin, and but I can't, because I'm 18, and a bit, so it doesn't get a chance to heal, and I can't stop, and so I'm using a bit of moisturiser. I'm trying to sort of masturbate, but you know, strategically to avoid the scar, and quite a hideous thing actually. I had a threesome with my first love and the girl I ended up going out with after her, two of the most beautiful girls in the world. And yet when we were having this threesome, when there was like a double blowjob, I was having to strategically cover the scab on my penis. Every silver lining has a cloud. Oh, no, sorry about that. But anyway. So this thing, finally, it heals up, and then there's a little scab, and I managed to keep my hands off it for a couple of weeks. No, you're going to wank the thing off, you're going to wank it loose. And then the scab falls off, and I'm like, oh, thank fuck for that, I can get back on with my life. I mean, this shit's important to me, the penis is important. I heard them talking on Honey Badger Radio the other day about how important the penis is to a man. I mean, we know it is anyway, and not just the Freudian aspect of things, but she was talking about it as in like male potential and their direction in the world. Did I say direction, or did I mean erection? Very good. Let me give you an example though. Look, this true story of a wife. She got really pissed off at her husband's behaviour, so she cut his cock off with a sickle. True story. Now compare your response to that with when I say to you, yeah, there's this story about this man. He got really pissed off with his wife's behaviour, so he chopped her tits off with a sickle. Interesting, isn't it? Interesting, completely different response. How you cannot say cut a cock off without look, cut tits off. Strange, there's a lot to be unpacked there. A strange sexually dimorphic culture we've got, and all the strange entangled webbery of that. Anyway, back to my willy. It's all healed up, and I'm back having a normal life, and there's no sickles, and I'm not chopping anyone's tits off or anything. And I'll tell you what, I was out one night though in Leeds when I was at university there with this bloke called Alex. You know, when you're at university and you meet someone and you go out for a drink and you have a night and you never talk to them ever again. I remember as we were walking home once, just out the blue, he went to me, do you ever think about cutting a girl's nipples off with a pair of scissors? I was like, nah. No, I'll see you. Never saw him again. Bye. No, I live that. No, just go. Anyway, then where the original wound then scab was, this little thing appeared. It looked like a little scar, and I was like, oh fucking hell, man, I got a scar on my penis. But then I started thinking, oh, that's all right, yeah. And I remember at the time looking, there's no internet then. I remember looking in a magazine and seeing that there's a lot of prisoners, I think they might be out in Venezuela, where they have pearls sewn under their foreskin along their cock. I think either for how you have a different pearl. It's either every year you've done in prison or how many people you've murdered or something. And I was actually looking at it thinking, well, maybe I can palm it off as a pearl that's been sewn under my foreskin. Yeah, I murdered the bloke who wanted to cut women's tits off. Anyway, it started getting a bit bigger. I remember I took a nail file to it, and and then it started bleeding. Oh, I should have put a trigger warning really on it, shouldn't I? If you're eating or you're watching this with your mum. Anyway, left it, forgot about it, and it sort of was getting bigger. But you don't want to admit. I kind of knew what it was, as most of you do already, but I didn't want to admit it. I just didn't want to have to go through whatever hideous procedure that would be. It was the old, if I ignore it, it'll go away. But I was 18, I was at art college, I was having a lot of sex, and I was like, what's that? I don't know. The sky's a pearl. It's a pearl, alright? I went to prison in Venezuela. Anyway, one day, round a mate's house, and he had this book. Again, this is pre-internet times. And he had a book, and it was called something like Hideous Sexual... I think it was a mail order thing in the back of the Sunday Sport, which for Americans, Sunday Sport is like a trashy, soft porn newspaper. It'd have like cover... stories like Adolf Hitler found on the moon in an aeroplane, and really that World War II bomber found on the moon, and you'd open it up, it'd just be loads of tits and soft porn and things like, send off for this book on hideous sexual illnesses and diseases. There was a picture of a genital wart that was like the size of your hand, but there was something about the surface texture of it, a little bit like a cauliflower. And although my little thing was only the size of a match head, I could tell I had a genital wart, and I didn't want one. Of course I didn't want one. Who wants one? Not that I've got one to offer, I just mean who there. Yeah. No, I was like gutted. So I've gone to a clinic in my hometown, Dartford, and weirdly, it was called the Renton Clinic. Someone with a history of heroin abuse and train spotting Renton. I was like, oh no, drop me out. And not a nice place to go because Dartford's quite a small town, and the Renton Clinic was just for sexually transmitted diseases. So, you'd be in the waiting room and you'd just see people oh, what's a nice girl like you doing? Gross, man. Just everyone in there going, yeah, we're like a special 2%, aren't we? Anyway, I've gone in, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, probably go in there, I'll probably get a scalpel, bit of anaesthetic, whip it off and send me home. Get in there and I'm laying down and there's like, there's what is it, like those things for to put your legs in. And I'm thinking, what are they called? Like straddler. I can't remember what they're called. The thing where you sort of all like that. But it wasn't an anal exam. And he went, take your trousers down, and I took my trousers down, and I put one leg in his stirrups. That's what they're called. I put one leg in his stirrup, and I went to put the other one, and went, what are you doing? I'm sorry, mate. He went, just sit on the edge of the bed. So I've sat there and, I've got my dong out. And of course, I'm not a gay man, but, the last thing I want to happen is to get an erection. So I can't help but think that's almost certainly going to happen. And I'm getting images. Linda Lasardi, Maria Whittaker, women of that era. And I'm thinking, no. He puts on these gloves. And no shit, he cups my balls. Surely that's unnecessary. Cups them. I think gives him a little. I think maybe just give him a once over. While he's there. And then he sort of cupped my cock as well. I mean, quite a big, hefty. Not really. Not really. He's got my little willy like this. He's got a magnifying. Yeah, he went to me. He went. Yeah, he was like a black fella, African bloke, and he went. He went, you got yourself a genital what? And I was like, right, okay. And he went, now my impression's not that good, I'll probably break out of it halfway through, but he went, what we usually do is put a bit of plant extract on it. It's no problem, just some plant extract with like a paintbrush. And I was like, oh, well, that's all right. Then he went, but this one has gone too far. I was like, oh, thanks. Thanks for offering me the lesser remedy. He went, then what we do is put a little bit of acid on it. Not LSD, just acid. And I was thinking, shit. He went, just dab a little bit of acid on it, burn the water off the skin, it don't come back like that. He went, I was like, oh, all right, then, can you do that now? He went, I can do it now, but this one had gone too far for that. Fucking hell, man. Nice. Can we not just get to what I'm having? And then he went, so what happens next is we put the acid and the plant extract on together. So both these medicine work together. And I was like, right, and what? It's gone too far for that? He went, correct, you're learning. I went, so what's happening then? I shit you not. He walked to the other side of the room and he pulled this little drawer around. It was a big tank. Like a big tank of fuck knows what. And it's on wheels, it's so heavy, and it's got all these tubes. It looks like an oxyacetylene torch. You know, the sort of things that they abseil down the side of boats to cut massive bits of metal out the side of fucking liners. And I was thinking, no, I don't know about this. I'm thinking, actually, you know, fuck off. I don't want oxyacetylene on my cock. And he come over and went, when it's gone as far as yours, he goes, it's a simple procedure. We just use liquid nitrogen and we freeze the wart. Whew. And my belly went. I just thought, oh my God, he's going to spray liquid nitrogen. That stuff is cold. You know, that's cold. You know, to make the gas nitrogen, which I think is one of the most prevalent gases in the universe, to turn that into a liquid, you've got to get that cold. I'm no scientist, but that's obvious. You know, to make it so you can pour it. And I'm like, oh, man. And I went, does it hurt? He went, no, man, does it hurt? 'Cause it doesn't hurt, tiny little white like that, no problem. And I was like, all right then. So I've just sat there and I'm shaking. I'm shaking because I don't want liquid nitrogen on my cock. Can you understand that? Ladies. I mean, genital warts are very common. I reckon probably about half the people hearing this have had them, so you might have been here. I mean, who wants that on your vulva, on your labia? You know, people have burnt off their anuses as well. Fucking hell, man, life. So anyway, he's got these two, well, like a tube thing. And he's turned some knobs and dials. Turned some knobs, not mine. Mine turned itself. It was trying to get out. And it's gone. And this little thing went. And this jet of hell. It looked like it almost looked like he'd made a needle out of liquid nitrogen. Do you know what I mean? And as it was coming out, at some point it was turned into gas. It was almost, if you had to write a list of things you didn't want near your penis, this is right up. This is just under sickle. And I'm just going, and he's just going, man. And fair play to him. He put his hand on my shoulder. And he went, I do this all day, every day. It's nothing. And as he said that, and I'm thinking, that's really, you know, I ain't got a problem with a bloke touching me. I mean, it's a bit weird while he's about to work cock as well. But as he's put his hand on me and said, I do this he's done it. Job's a good one. And as I've looked down to what I think is going to watch him do it, he turns off the tank. Now, the weird thing was, he then pushed his finger. He's got these gloves on, though. He pushed his finger right on it. It was like literally, I'm not minimising this, but it was only like a match head, tiny little thing. But as he's pushed on it, where my skin is frozen, it's made a concave little sort of pit on my foreskin. And when he took his finger off of it, it's still there. You know, it's remained like his fingerprint in my penis. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking weird, isn't it? And I can't feel anything. I didn't even feel him do it. And I'm like, oh, that's all right. He went, okay, go into reception and make an appointment for 2 weeks' time. We'll have another look at it. And I went, nice one, man. You've been great. You really have. And you know what it's like. It's like when you leave the dentist, you're like, no, you're brilliant. You're just so happy to be out of somewhere that you've been terrified. And I was like, oh, you've been really good, mate, really good. So pull my pants up, pull my trousers up, walk out, and I've got a spring in my step now. I go up to reception, and all the other people are sitting there, and I remember there was a girl who I recognised from school, and I was like, all right, a bit too loud in there. Hello, love. And a few other people in reception's there. Nurse comes to reception. She says, okay, how can I help you? I said, yeah, the doctor, or whatever his name is, and then it hit me. What essentially has happened is it's defrosted. The reason I didn't feel anything was because it was fucking frozen. There was no way my nerve endings were going to be able to feel anything because they were frozen. But now in the heat of the waiting room, the heat of my trousers, the spring in my step, the blood moving through my body, it was now defrosting. And it was the most incredible penis pain possible. Hello, this is penis pain possible. And I tell you what, I looked at her and I thought, I'm going to puke all over you. I really did. And I went, ha. And she went, you've got an awful colour. And as I went down, it hit me head a bit on the... I can remember, and then that was it, gone. Out cold. Collapsed, fainted, passed out. My body had registered that pain and went, right, what's the best thing we can do now? Turn the lights off. Go. Bang. This is not good enough. And the next thing I know, as I'm coming round, as my vision's appearing, it could have been 5 seconds, 5 minutes, fuck knows. I can see a nurse's, those weird little white plimsolls they wear and her little white surgical stockings or something. I mean, in my head, they went up to lacy ones. Down, oh, hi. In the walk clinic. I can't believe I'm having sexual fantasies in the STD clinic. Anyway, a little white socks or tights or whatever, little white plimsolls. That's the first thing I see, and and I can still feel it, and it's really, really painful. And I can't, because of the posture, I can't quite. And I'm looking, I see the little white bottom of her skirt, and I go, so I think it's where it's defrost. I'm trying to explain to her. She fucking knows. She knows what's happened, obviously. And I'm sort of going, my cock get frozen. So they pick me up, they put me down, fair play to them, they give me a little, do you remember those Club Orange? They're like I don't know if you have in America, probably. I keep getting told off by saying, don't know if you have garden gnomes in America. Don't know if you have sausages in America. Like they give me a bit of chocolate and a sugary tea, and it helps. It balances me. Fuck knows why it helps. I'm sure someone will tell me. And I'm alright, and I sit there for about 20 minutes and I leave. You know what? I went back there for treatment about another 10 times, and it done nothing for it. Met a girl when I went up to do my master's degree in Leeds. First thing I did before we had sex was I said, look, hang on, I've got a problem here. She changed my diet, got me into yoga. About 6 weeks later, it was gone. Never seen it since. Never stopped doing yoga since. Never stopped drinking 3 or 4 litres of water a day. Yeah, all that treatment, all that fucking liquid nitrogen, nah, it just kept the fucking thing there. Good diet. Anyway, that's not the story. So, that's the story of when I passed out dramatically at the STD clinic. They're now called STIs, aren't they? Fuck knows why. Probably to give someone a reason to print a load more pamphlets and keep us all in work. Anyway. Forward 10 years till now I'm about 28, 29. And I'm on and off the smack. I'm on it, I'm off it, I'm going to rehab, I'm going to a detox centre, I get a couple of weeks off, I relapse. My poor mother's going through hell, awful time this was. It's almost sometimes easier for family members and friends when you're just on it, because at least they don't have to keep getting their hopes up. At least they're not driving you to rehabs and doing the emotional bit. I mean, all those tears and go on and I got you this, I got you a new t-shirt, write to me, all that slowly fades away, and it gets to the point where you're making your own way to the detox centre. They don't even say good luck. But it was a real horrible period, and I'd just come out of a detox centre and I'd relapsed after about 3 days. While I was in there, a bloke I know was shot through the heart of a crossbow, And that was all in the local news, and obviously my mum associated that with the drug culture and all that sort of stuff. And I didn't want to tell her that I'd relapsed. It was just too fucking painful, and I just didn't want her to go through that. Selfish as well, obviously. But I just thought, I'll get clean. I'll just fucking get clean. I'll do it myself. I'll tape it, all the usual nonsense. Anyway, my girlfriend who got clean had managed to stay clean, and so she was sorting out loads of complementary therapies like massages and shiatsu and that weird rubbish one that weird massage where they don't touch you. I think I've done a story about it. And one of the ones was acupuncture. Now, for someone who injected heroin on and off for 25 odd years, I don't like needles. I'm serious. I can't handle a blood test. If I have to give a blood test, my doctor's quite good. He lets me do it myself. I just draw him some blood out. But if someone else does it, I will faint. I'm out cold. And I'll tell them that. And they look at my history and they're like, yeah, all right. Then they do it. Bang, I'm gone. So I have to pack a Mars bar. And I mean a real one. I don't mean like a... what am I talking about? A fake one? I don't take a fake Mars bar. It's late. I have to take some chocolate with me and I munch it because I know I'm going to pass out. I'm very bad with other people. It must be a control thing. Your skin is like the barrier between the inside you and the outside other. And to have that penetrated by a stranger. It's all getting a bit sexual now, isn't it? But no, I'm terrible with it. But my mum's like, well, look, your girlfriend is having it. Well, I'll drive you up there. And she was so helpful, my mum, always driving us to chemists to get prescriptions to help us stay clean, doing all this. And she said, look, I'll drive you up to the acupuncture place. So I thought, all right then. And I think it's oracular or something like that. I'm sure someone will tell me. It's only in your ear. There's been a lot of research that apparently it brings on a very similar relaxation to opiates. And when you've just got clean, it can be very helpful. A lot of people swear by it. I know loads of people who still do it, like 5, 10, 15 years clean. They all have it. I've been in rehab centres where everyone's have it, and they're all like on a couch with these 4 or 5 needles in their ear. But you're not meant to have it when you're using. And I was obviously using, but my mother doesn't think that, and no one at the centre thought that. So she's driven us up there, and we've gone in there, and they're like, oh, hello. Oh, you must be Chris, and you... Yeah. So you want to do the acupuncture program? Okay. If you go in that room, there's a few others in there. Get to know them. We'll be starting in 5. So I've gone in there, and it's cool. As soon as I've walked in there, it's like... some sort of sitar-y, ethno sort of yoga meditation music. There's joss sticks burning away, and I'm a bit of a cynic, and I'm thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, and using, so I'm like and anyway, so she gets out this big box of needles, and my stomach's already like, oh god. And I see her, and every time she goes to the dentist does this as well. My dentist always goes, when they give me the injections in the mouth, which I'm not so bad at actually, she always goes, right, you're just going to feel a little scratch. Oh, scratch, don't say that. And she was the same, she was going, you're just going to feel a little prick. And of course all these junkies are going, and then the next one, just going to feel a little prick. And so she's like, just putting 4 or 5 in everyone's ear, and she's rapido. She's like, just gonna feel a little prick, going round, and they're out. They're just going, and I'm thinking, oh god. So she gets round to me. I obviously haven't got this hat on, and she goes, you're just gonna feel a little prick. You said it, darling. And she goes, and I don't feel anything. Don't feel a thing. I felt a little prick, and I was like, oh, this is all right. And then, I do not know what Ming Dynasty channels she managed to combine in my ear, but she certainly played crossroads with the heroin that was running around my body at the same time. And I tell you what, I started getting hot and hot. And hot, and I felt so hot, and my ear just started burning, and I was like, you idiot. And my mum's outside, by the way, she's waiting for us in the waiting room, and I'm just like, And then I'm panicking, thinking, hang on, they might have been serious. When they said... Because at first I thought what they meant was you don't have acupuncture if you're using, because what's the point? Or you don't deserve it. Or, you know, something weird like that. But then I started thinking, hang on, maybe it's fucking dangerous. Maybe I'm about to die. Maybe I'm dying. And I thought, I've got to tell someone what I'm going to do. Suddenly go, I'm using... And I thought, first thing I've got to do is cool down a bit, so I'll take my jumper off. So I grabbed hold of my jumper, and just as I got it to my head, I had this thought of these 5 needles getting hooked up in my jumper, and then just getting sort of yanked out or yanked in or scratched. And just the thought of it, I went, ha, ha. And then I remember seeing the nurse run across the room, and I went, ah, boom. And again... out cold. Next thing I know, I can see her little plimsolls, right? Those little white plimsolls. And I can see the little white stockings or socks. Let's not go there again. And because of the position I'm in, and now the extra concern of these needles in my ear, I don't know where to move and all that. And I'm kind of spaced, but I think I've got to explain, because I might die. You know, I know I was never going to die. Well, I could have done, but the risks were very low. But at the time I thought, shit, man, I've got to tell them. I've got to just come clean. I've got to say I'm using, get these things out of my ear. You've crossed the beams. Because I'm fucked on acupuncture, passing out, possible concussion, and Chinese devil ear worship that's happening, I've gone in front of all these junkies who now have all sort of come round. I'm going to there's a frozen penis. And I'll be honest with you, I don't remember. I remember saying that sort of thing, but it was my missus. She was crying with laughter, and it was her that later on told me I was just going, no, it's because my penis is defrosted. You've got to take them out because my penis is frozen. I've got a wart on my penis. I don't know what connections they made, but my fucking head made the connection back to 10 years previous. The time I fainted before then. Oh my God. And I remember in the car home coming clean to my mum and just feeling awful. And she went, well, that doesn't bother me as much as why the hell you were sitting there telling everyone that your penis was frozen. Because I never told her about the genital wart. She was going, you sometimes, I don't know where you bloody come from. You were mixed up at the bloody hospital, you frozen bloody penis. Well, it went on a bit longer than I thought, but there you go. There's a story for you. If you want more, think about adding some money to the Patreon, or don't. Links in the description. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm making the assumption you did, but I think there were 2 very good stories. Ciao.